Dear sewing friends, it's Elisa here with Thoughtful Creativity, and before we truly dive into this jam-packed video, I want to say two things. Number one, I have a ton of real-life examples today, so I hope you get that fantastic inspiration, that long list of ideas that you can implement right away, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of you already have raglan sleeve t-shirt or sweatshirt pattern at home, so you can start being your own designer as of this very moment. And number two is that I wasn't really always a fan of raglan sleeves or anything that really looked like that classic baseball t-shirt. Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of that. And that was up until a couple of years ago when I truly started to experiment. I started to play around with different fabrics, different ideas, different style lines. And then it really came to me that, you know what? This is a great basic pattern that you can use time and time and time again. Now that I'm thinking about it, I even did raglan sleeves on my wedding dress. First, I want to do some myth busting. Myth number one is that you can only do raglan sleeve with a combination of two different colors. So your sleeves are a separate color and your body is a separate color. For some reason, a lot of times people assume that right away. And it's not true. You can also do that in solids. It looks really nice. I've done that a lot. And number two is that raglan sweatshirt or raglan shirt you can only do in knit, so in fabric that actually stretches. But you can also do raglan sleeves in fabric that doesn't stretch. So with those two in mind, you can apply all of these ideas for both woven fabrics and for knit fabrics, but you have to, of course, remember about ease, how you're going to get into that garment, and all of the other good stuff, but I'm pretty confident that you know that already. So let's jump into the idea number one. I always like to remind myself that not all ideas need to be extravagant and grand in order to be really fun and really beautiful, like in this case right over here. So we're starting by using a simple basic shape like diamond shape. And what I mean by that is, if you take a look right over here, we're playing around with this beautiful line that is created by a sleeve being attached to the bodice of our garment. And we're going to mimic the same line on the bottom of the garment as well. And that is going to create this beautiful diamond shape in the middle of the bodice. And you can play around due to this with different styles, different fabrics, different colors. Like in my case, these three are actually three different fabrics. This is peach, this is sparkly, and this is gray. But it creates that garment that is sort of dressy, but also casual, so you can definitely use it in a variety of life situations. In this case, I also made another one, and both of these have been made years ago, and I believe the patterns were from Berta Style, so all credit goes to them, but nevertheless, this is a great idea. In this case, this sweatshirt is really oversized, so when I'm putting it on, I actually barely stretch it. So I took advantage of that, and these side panels right over here are actually made from organza, so something that doesn't stretch, and then I lined it as well, so that way it's not see-through. But still, we create a really beautiful garment, and in this case the bodice is made from the same fabric as the sleeve, so you can play around and definitely use your fabric scraps as well, because who knows, maybe you will find some beautiful use for what you already have at home. This one is going to be 2-in-1 because I always get asked how to create a peplum for your t-shirt, top, sweatshirt, blouse, whatever, and I also want you to think about all of the ways how you can take advantage of this beautiful line that is created when we attach the sleeve to the bodice that we just spoke about, because I think that you can definitely add some beautiful style and fashion elements that will really take your garment to the next level. So let's take a look. Now, majority of these for my little baby girl have been made using scrap fabric from previous projects. So in this regard, raglan sweatshirt pattern and design really is a win-win. You can play around with it, you can be super creative, and you can use your beautiful scrap fabric, which otherwise you might not be able to use in other projects. So here, this is going to be the front, and then the white is going to be the back. Then I have two white sleeves. Now, because I did not have enough of this cupcake fabric to cut a long enough front pattern piece, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little peplum. So this is all I had. It's not enough to make a really full peplum, but we're going to make it work. We're gonna gather it up, make it real pretty, and that's how it's going to look like. And then I also had a tiny little piece of this double brushed polyester jersey. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut in shorter strips, and I'm going to gather it up in little ruffles, and that ruffle is gonna go over here,
and over here, and I think that is going to add a really nice and beautiful detail to the sleeves and is going to look really cohesive with this little peplum on the bottom.
A quick shout out to the members of the channel. First of all, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you joining. I truly appreciate your support, and I really enjoy the community that we have. Plus, you will have a little reference sheet with all the design ideas from today's video, so that way you can keep it all in one spot and have it accessible whenever you're ready and whenever the inspiration hits. So definitely check your members' perks.
Here I was really running out of fabric, but with that I wanted to play around with cutting apart the front pattern piece and really playing around with shapes. So over here I have some really beautiful color combinations and print combinations. So this is going to be the front pattern piece for the raglan sweatshirt. As you can see, I've added some decorative seams right over here, and I think that is going to look so cute. And for the sleeves, we're gonna go for a slightly darker color, and I think that will look really good together as well. All together for raglan sweatshirts, you can cut them apart in different geometric shapes and different geometric style lines. This is a really versatile pattern where you can go all out, be super creative, because that's what the raglan sweatshirt pattern is all about.
Okay, so we spoke about a couple of different ways how you can modify the bodice of your raglan sweatshirt. Not even modify, just cut it apart so that way you can create something unique and beautiful. But this time, let's take a look at sleeves. Sleeves are equally a wonderful part of the garment. A lot of times we kind of forget about that. And I actually just did a video on how to make and draft 5 different sleeves that will look absolutely beautiful and will elevate your garment to the next step. Now in this case, very simple. We just cut it shorter, right? What's new there? Nothing new, but you can still do some really fun ideas with that as well. And in this case, this is a woven raglan, and here I actually gathered the sleeve so that way it will give us a tiny bit of a bishop sleeve. Now this is not an exaggerated bishop sleeve, not a large one at all, but you can decide for yourself whether you want to have a big puff, small puff, whatever you want, and definitely play around with that as well on your next raglan sweatshirt. Alright, if you have any sort of cutting machine that would cut vinyl or anything that you can permanently attach to your garments and it would stay there through the washing, then a raglan sleeve pattern is almost like made for this. And you don't even have to have one of the cutting machines, because my dear friend, sewing friend actually, did send me some fabric stickers that you can iron on. So plenty of possibilities. But what I really want to focus your attention on is that this design, this raglan sleeve design, is really great for making super personalized items, not only for kids but also for adults as well. I've made some beautiful things as gifts with definitely playing around with the raglan colors and also adding a very personalized touch to the middle of the garment as well. So I just made it with my Cricut. I just finished weeding it, and I think this is going to look so cute with these colors and with this combination of dark color and holographic iron-on. I think this is going to look so fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and fuse it. And by the way, here's a really quick tip. If you're like me and you have a young child, mine is a little bit over 3 now, but what I like to do is when I sew clothing for her, number 1, I like to use fabric scraps for that, because that's the perfect way how to use them up and really create something beautiful for her. And number 2, I usually sew about 6 to 9 months in advance, meaning that right now she's wearing something that would also fit when she would be almost 4. And a raglan sleeve design is actually perfect for that, because unlike with a regular sleeve, you don't see that the shoulder droops off of. So, you know, when we have a regular shoulder, it should sit right on the shoulder. When you're wearing something that's oversized or maybe bigger than the actual size that you need to wear, usually the shoulder droops. And that kind of is the first indicator that maybe you're not wearing the size that you're supposed to be wearing, unless it's a drop shoulder. So when you're using raglan sleeve design or pattern for your kids, that actually masks the fact that the garment is a little bit larger than it's supposed to be. Plus, a raglan design is really great when you have little active kids, because it really allows for that range of a movement, which is why raglan sleeves are also often used in outerwear as well. Now, speaking of activewear, you can of course transform your regular raglan sweatshirt into a zip-up sweatshirt, or maybe a bomber jacket, or something that you can wear on top of other clothes. If you want to add a kangaroo pocket, it's really easy to do as well. And of course, don't forget about turtlenecks and hoods as well to turn your raglan sweatshirt into a hoodie. Now, if you have a question about how to make a hood, it's actually really easy. And to see how it's done, go ahead and click right over here. This video will guide you step by step so that way you can make a hood for anything that you have at home, for any pattern that you already have. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, stay creative. Bye!